entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Gladiator is to me as close to a perfect film as you can get. It's a film with epic scope and scale, but at its core it's a deeply personal human revenge tale. Maximus has given his life, loyalty and blood to Rome, and when his wife and son are murdered, his very soul is killed with them. What happens to a man when so much is ripped away from him, and what lengths will he go to get his revenge? It's a film that shows the very best of masculinity. Maximus is smart, capable and strong, attributes most modern writers of male characters of today seem to actively avoid. Crowe brought a vulnerability and intensity to the role that helped cement his performance and the film's legacy as one of the greats, along with iconic lines and scenes still quoted and echoed 24 years later.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Gladiator also kick-started a new era of so-called sword and sandal historical epics. Ridley Scott once again returns as director with a lot more experience and a much spottier track record than he had all the way back in the year 2000. It is said that the gods flip a coin whenever Scott makes a film nowadays. Heads is a glorious masterpiece that will stand the test of time as some of the best in a given genre, or Tails, a forgettable, bland piece of film going through the motions that has all the elements of greatness, but doesn't quite come together or live up to its potential. So, where has the coin landed for Gladiator II? Well, I have to say I was entertained, but let's get to the plot. Set 16 years after Maximus's death, Rome teeters on the brink of collapse under the rule of tyrannical twin emperors obsessed with expansion and war at any cost. Their endless conquests have left Rome's subjects starving and the empire weakened. Into this chaos steps Lucius, son of Maximus, who since the events of the first film has spent his life running from his Roman heritage. When his home is destroyed and conquered by Roman forces, led by General Acacius, he's captured and forced into slavery and gladiatorial combat under the thumb of Macrinus, a former slave turned Roman elitist who intends to use Lucius's rage as an instrument in his plot to take power for himself. He sets Lucius on a collision course with Acacius, a man who dreams of restoring the power of Rome to its people. Will Lucius allow his loss and rage to destroy all in his path, blinding him from seeing the truth? Or will he look to the past he's rejected for so long to find strength to fight a battle bigger than his own? Paul Mescal delivers an intensely physical performance as Lucius, bringing a seething anger that underlines every move he makes and word he utters. He is a broken man after his tragic loss at the beginning of the film, which fuels his hatred of Rome, embodied in the form of General Acacius, who becomes the focus of his rage and revenge. His gladiatorial combat scenes showcase an animalistic ferocity that makes other characters genuinely fear him, and he physically sells these thrilling scenes in a believable way. While his character arc follows a predictable path on a personal revenge quest to one of understanding and leadership, Mescal's raw intensity sells every moment and speech delivered. His eventual realization that he shares more in common with his father, Maximus, than he initially believed, comes perhaps too suddenly, and it's a bit jarring. One has to wonder what was lost in the edit. But that's more of a comment on the pacing than Mescal's performance, whose commitment to the role makes it work. One cannot help but compare every element to the original film, exasperated by the plot and structure similarities. Mescal's performance, however, is easily one of this film's highlights, and he doesn't feel out of place alongside other, more established actors. Denzel Washington as Macrinus commands and chews every scene as a master manipulator plotting his own revenge against Rome. His character's machinations provide much of the film's political intrigue. He doesn't use his physicality as his weapon like Lucius. Instead, he uses coercion and control to dish out a different kind of revenge, playing characters' flaws and weaknesses off each other with a charismatic swagger and cunning that is fun to watch, even though his actions are self-serving and reprehensible. Pedro Pascal brings his reliable presence to the role of General Marcus Acacius, though his appearance in what seems to be every piece of media for the last few years is distracting. One cannot help but imagine his character's impact could have been increased substantially if the role was offered to someone else. As it is though, he brings a battle-worn vulnerability and strength to the character and gives a now well-established, reliable performance. Connie Nielsen returns from the first film as Lucilla in heartbreaking scenes with Lucius that explore the weight of past decisions, offering some of the film's best moments as Lucius's tough exterior is broken down. The film's practical achievements are breathtaking, particularly in the Colosseum sequences. The scale of these sets is truly remarkable, with the arena and its surrounding architecture built to impressive proportions that dwarf the performers. Visual effects are put to great use for wider establishing shots, offering us perhaps the best realised version of ancient Rome ever put to screen. It's unfortunate then that its other uses, particularly in animal fights, lose the drama and stakes compared to the fights simply between people. There is, however, still an emphasis on practical effects and real locations, which gives the film a tangible grandeur that hasn't been seen on this scale in a while. However, the action sequences, while competently filmed, lack some of the visceral impact of the original. The opening coastal city battle, heavy with CGI ships, particularly suffers in comparison to the original's iconic forest battle, missing that raw, intimate brutality that made the first film's combat so visceral and memorable. Still, Ridley Scott's direction of action remains masterful. No shaky cam in sight here, instead clear shots allow the impactful combat to land. The film treats Maximus's legacy with profound respect, never cheapening the impact of the original character or story. His presence looms large over the narrative, referenced not through cheap callbacks, but through meaningful thematic echoes that inform the story being told, with clips being used from the previous film to great effect. One could argue, in fact, that the film is almost too concerned with the impact and legacy of that first film, and can prevent this one from standing on its own. Its plot and structure is also very similar to that of the first film, making comparisons all the more unavoidable. The film maintains a steady rhythm between political intrigue and arena combat that, while occasionally repetitive, never gets to the point of dragging. Revenge drives multiple character arcs, but the film is equally concerned with the nature of Rome itself, its promises, betrayals, and potential for redemption. The dream of Rome that Maximus and before him Marcus Aurelius once held becomes a central theme, some saying it is an old man's fantasy, some desperate to believe. This dream is contrasted sharply with its current reality under the tyrannical twin emperors as they desperately grasp onto power. Gladiator II is a reliably entertaining, though perhaps a too safe sequel to the original. It is not as risky a swing as the now infamous Nick Cave draft that would have seen Crow's Maximus fighting through the afterlife, but that may be for the best. It delivers a crowd-pleasing spectacle grounded in strong performances and themes that echo the original. It was always a tall order to produce a worthy sequel to Gladiator, and that perhaps explains the 24-year gap and Scott's hesitancy to do so. That hesitancy may have led to the decision to retread all too familiar ground when it comes to plot and structure. How much you like this will depend on how you feel about other safe sequels that tend to retell the original in a slightly different way, such as Home Alone 2 or Speed 2. But in the current modern film landscape, it's nice to see a sequel, though while not reaching the same high bar as that now legendary first film, it at least does not go out of its way to destroy it as other legacy sequels have done. Alas, it could have been so much worse. With Gladiator II, you can just sit back and enjoy the ride, and even though the film struggles to forge its own identity, it provides enough well-crafted action, political intrigue, and heart to keep you invested. There is plenty here to keep you entertained. I certainly was. But the thing I wanted to do the most after seeing it was watch that original 2000 film. Are you going to see Gladiator 2? Do you also think the first film is as legendary as I do? I'll be replying to all of your comments, so do let me know your thoughts below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Help me reach 100 subscribers before the end of the year. Thank you for your time, and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.